Hey, Leo, Mel, Intuitive Soul Coach here. Excited to bring in your January 2025 love and family reading. Welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, welcome. Now, Leo, I'm getting the song, Tina Turner's song, What's Love Got to Do with It? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? And you actually have the heartbreak card showing up here for you. So I feel like some of you may have gone through a breakup, okay? Perhaps you are grieving or there's been some despair here in the past position. And maybe you felt a little bit lost on your journey. Yeah, because I have the High Priestess. And it feels like you may have needed to take a bit of a time out. Take a little bit of a time out to heal. Yeah, Five of Cups showing up with the Two of Swords right off the bat. You may have had a decision to make here, or you were stuck between the head and the heart. Like knowing the right thing, but doing it can be two different things, right? It's like we know what to do sometimes. The brain is telling us this is the logical thing, but then the heart, the emotional part of it kind of keeps us going back and forth. And I just feel like you may have dealt with an Ike Turner, okay? Someone who may have been toxic in some way. There may be the way that they thought of love or relationships was dysfunctional. This could be a family member. This could be a child, a parent, a spouse. Let's see what's going on here for you, Leo. But I do see you coming out of this phase. Now, it's going to require you to take a risk. It's going to require you to take a gamble. And I feel some of you, perhaps you're not willing to show face yet, okay? Because we have the poker face. Maybe you're keeping something to yourself. You could be keeping something hidden because you're still going through the healing process. I feel like we're always going through the healing process, but you have the strength and the devil that just came out together. And what this tells me is you're opening your heart up. Somewhere within you, you've repressed your emotions. That's the poker face. You may not have been showing your hands, or perhaps you weren't showing someone how you were feeling. Or maybe someone did that to you. They were showing you a side of them that it just broke your heart to see the side of them because you wanted to see a healthier version. I mean, who doesn't, right? Whether it's your children, whether it's a family member, whether it's a spouse, you want to see the healthier version of someone. And when we see a side of them that has been kept hidden, or it's been repressed and it comes out, we have some tough choices to make. And I feel like that's kind of where you're at here, is making a choice that is going to have you facing some difficulties, okay? Have you facing some fears. But I feel like once you do, it's going to liberate you. Look at, we have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. So what do we got here for hopes and fears and final outcome? You have the Ten of Cups in the upright position at the bottom of the deck. So trust that you are heading towards emotional fulfillment, right? You're heading towards emotional fulfillment. You've learned a lot along the way. So even if this heartbreak happened 10 years ago, maybe 10 months ago, some of you may have lost a loved one. I feel like you went through that period, yes, of grieving. And we have to go through those periods. But perhaps some of you, you didn't want to grieve. You didn't know how to. And you put yourself in your work, or, you put yourself on a path of, I don't want to think about this right now, or this is too difficult to deal with. It feels like you had to put yourself in a bit of a timeout period, again, is what I see here. And I do feel that you've learned valuable lessons about vulnerability, about your strengths, as well as your weaknesses here. Now, showing up in the present month of January, Leo, this is about you taking a chance on opening up that heart again. And what's love got to do with it? Everything. right? Love is the centered feeling. It is a verb. It is, an action. Love is about you taking that action step to open yourself up to maybe a new beginning, or to feeling a sense of emotional completion here with that 10 of Cups. Now, if you're single and you've been heartbroken and there has been some sort of breakup here or loss, I feel like this is the month where you're kind of laying your cards out on the table for 2025, and you're saying, all right, I'm going to play. I'm going to play the game here of poker, and I'm going to hope that I catch the river and I have a full house here for those of you poker fans out there. But I feel like you do want to play the game, and you had to kind of sit out of it for a while because you may have lost all your chips. And I just feel like you have a new buy-in. There's a new game here for you to kind of be vulnerable and open up to, but it does require you to take a risk. And I feel like you sat out. You sat on the sidelines for a bit. Now, in the near future, you have the dragonfly. The dragonfly is a light-hearted energy. Now, you don't have to go into something, full force. You don't have to get, married on the first date, or, it doesn't have to be so complicated for you to put yourself out there. You can start light. And for those of you that are in a relationship, but perhaps there's been something either within that relationship or even external that has impacted this dynamic, I feel like it's important that you're vulnerable with each other and to share some of those fears, to lay it all out there, put it on the table. That's what this poker face means, because if you are holding back, if someone else is holding back, then you're not going to see the full picture. You're not going to be able to win, right? You're not going to win. And I feel in order to win, we have to be vulnerable and play. And the dragonfly says, this is lighthearted energy. Have fun. This is a year for more fun and, adapting to not taking things so seriously, right? Finding out who you truly are and finding out if you want to be in certain relationships and the type of people that you want to attract. And it's okay if you say, that's not for me. It's okay if there are people that are not going to go into your future with you. That's difficult sometimes, but it's okay. And it's part of the process. I do feel like things are coming to light here and you are healing. This dragonfly represents transformation. Bottom of the deck, you have healing the heart, right? Healing heartbreak. So here we see it showing up in the energy, but here we see you healing it and finally coming to that place of opening back up. And we don't realize subconsciously sometimes, because it's not being brought up into our awareness, we don't realize that we're still carrying some effects of, toxicity or addictions or abuse or, heartbreak that we haven't fully dealt with. Now, if you have, I feel like you are ready to start a new game in some sense here, okay? And by game, it doesn't mean that someone wants to play a game with you or head games or anything like that. No, it's just, it's just kind of clarifying this poker card. And I see that you've gone through something where you needed to take a little bit of a time to yourself, but now there's more of a lighthearted, fun, liberating type of vibe coming in for you. Now, starting off, you do have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is not having enough information. It can, again, feel like the head is going in one direction, the heart going in another. And I feel like Spirit is saying here, you don't have to know all of the answers right away. You just have to take a step forward. You just have to make a choice. Now, sometimes this can be about ignoring a choice, right? Ignoring a choice and sitting in something, hoping that it will change. I'm sure that Tina Turner sat in her marriage for quite some time because sometimes it's easier. I just heard this phrase in a movie I just watched with Blake Lively. It Ends With Us, I believe, was the movie. And she had asked her mom why she had stayed in an abusive relationship. And she said because it was easier, it would have been harder to leave, right? It would have been harder to leave. Therefore, sometimes we don't want to make a choice to leave. Sometimes even sitting in that heartache and heartbreak, even if we are no longer connected to that person, because it requires energy and work and momentum to heal and to exit and to let go of that situation. And I feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, yes, but you have the ability to move forward. Don't let indecision paralyze you here. Because why is that indecision coming in? Because again, 5 of Cups, grief, disappointment, loss, heartache. But it's crossing your path for a reason. And when this is showing up here, Leo, as a challenge, I feel like it's saying you can and should allow yourself space to grieve, but don't sit in it for too long. Okay. Now, of course, you can't put a timetable on these things, but if you feel like you've been in the same exact grief level as you have from day one, and now it's day, 999, then you've sat in something without progressing or seeing some sort of progress. And I feel like that is a sign or a signal to get some sort of guidance or help. This, though, showing up as a challenge says your past pain is receding. Hope is emerging, because this is crossing your path. But when I read the 5 of Cups in reverse, it means, yeah, we've dealt with that pain. But this is Tina, liberating herself from whatever dysfunctional dynamics, right? This is you liberating yourself from those dysfunctional dynamics or some sort of loss or hurt or pain or toxicity, whatever it was here for you, disappointment, right? You could have even been disappointed in yourself for whatever reason, but you have healed, and I feel like new hope is emerging here. Now, what's below you? You have the 4 of Swords in reverse, obsession in the mind, right? Overthinking, contemplating, ignoring the signs of rest even. When the 4 of Swords shows up in reverse, I feel like there's a recovery process mentally. Some of you, there was a lot of mental anguish, maybe even mental health may have shown up for some of you, whether your own or someone else struggled with mental health, and it really caused a lot of inconsistency in a dynamic, and you had to deal with the aftermath of it. But I feel like you've given yourself a little bit of that time here, and maybe even started to step into a new routine. You may be in a relationship or a dynamic currently with someone who is, I'm just going to say it. I don't say it often because this word gets thrown out there and tossed out there. But what I see with the mental health and the Emperor in reverse is it can be narcissism. It can be someone who's very controlling, or someone who has a power play or a power struggle. This can be an individual that, tells you what you should be doing or how you should be living your life, or, what you should wear. I mean, this could be a parent. This could be a father. It could also be stemming from maybe lack of a strong, solid father dynamic in your life. And maybe that has played out here. Some of you, this has to do with the death or the loss of maybe a father figure. But I feel like you've rebelled against authority in some way. Okay, Leo, there's a rebelling taking place here, and it's not a bad thing. It feels like you want to liberate yourself. You want to rebel from that and say, I am me. You want to own your power. You want to stand apart here from something. You want to break the chain, break the cycle, because what's above you, the potential here is for you to do just that. Instead of hiding, the devil is showing up here, repressing. It's hiding behind all those boulders. But that devil, doesn't it look scary? Whenever I see this devil, I mean, he kind of has those creepy eyes, but I feel like those are our emotions and our feelings and our beliefs. The devil energy is what we tether ourselves to. That's scary as heck, because it can be an addiction. It can be an obsession. It can be, manipulation even. It can be bondage, codependency. I mean, you name it. The devil is scary when we attach ourselves to it. And I feel like you have the potential to break out of whatever this is, whether this is physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. You have everything within you to kind of, push that all the boulders down, create a landslide if you need to, but don't repress. Don't repress your emotions. Let them out. Okay. Talk to someone, seek some sort of guidance. I feel like you already have, is what I'm being told here. And I see that you are breaking out of the paradigm here. Some of you have overcome something quite difficult, quite scary as well. Now, in the near future, you have the strength. Now, when I see the strength, this tells me that whatever this is in your life, you will recover. This is a recovery energy because it's about compassion. It's about love. It is about you facing some of those fears head on and you being kind to yourself in the process. You see that this little girl is hugging the crocodile. That may seem crazy, but sometimes it is looking at our greatest weaknesses, okay, or our greatest vulnerabilities and giving it a big old hug and saying, I got you. I can accept that this is where I struggle. I can accept that this is a toxic part of, myself based on the conditionings and beliefs that I've had, or this is something that limits me, but I'm going to love that part of myself. I'm not going to victimize myself because of it. I'm not going to run from this crocodile because I know that sometimes that beast within us all can come out and can react in certain ways when we feel like we're under pressure or under demands or under heartache or heartbreak. But what she's not doing is giving up on herself, because that crocodile actually represents a part of her. And I feel here that the strength, your energy, Leo, you are overcoming difficulty, you're facing fears, and this is allowing your inner strength to show up in a place of compassion for not just others, but for yourself, first and foremost here. This is self-love. If you've abandoned yourself in some way, or even if you have felt abandoned, this is you coming back home to you. And I feel by doing so, when you heal, the world heals, right? When you heal this part of you, you rise up. And I do feel like there is an ascension taking place. Now, how are you doing? Leo, you are determined. You're determined to overcome difficulties here when it comes to matters of the heart, and you will. When you have this fortitude, when you have this mindset of the Knight of Swords, when this knight sets his mind to something, there's nothing that he cannot accomplish, especially with the strength here by his side. So if this is an addiction, if this is someone who's like a drug and perhaps you keep going back to it, perhaps you've numbed or suppressed feeling something because it would hurt too much to feel it. And maybe you've masked it with shopping, gambling, sex, whatever addiction, substances. I mean, you name it. It can be anything. That devil can kind of grip us or hold us in its grip. But the good news is that we have the ability to untether, to release, to unbond ourselves from it. And I see that you're moving forward here in a very profound way because we have the Hierophant, because you've learned some lessons. Well, not just some, but a lot. And I feel like life has been your biggest teacher. You are the wisdom keeper. When you have the Hierophant, this is higher power. And I feel like you're shedding some old beliefs, which is beautiful. Shedding old beliefs, because sometimes when we go through heartbreak, when we go through any experience in life, whether good or bad, we start to attach a new belief system around that experience. So if we've gone through heartbreak, we start to tell ourselves that, we're going to set ourselves up for another heartbreak, that we are going to meet someone that does the same thing to us that this person did, or if this person crossed over, the next person is gonna, right? So we start to set up a new belief system based on our conditions, based on our life experiences. But you're saying, wait a second, this doesn't have to keep replaying out. And that is the lesson of the Hierophant here, that you have the power, you have the ability to tell yourself a new story. And even if the ending turns out in some sort of heartache, you're not going to miss out on the game, right? You're not going to sit out the entire game. Why? Because you are holding pocket rockets. You are holding double aces here. And what you don't see, but you can trust, is perhaps there's an ace that you hit at the end here, and it gives you the winning hand. You know, maybe you don't hit that, but you're not going to know unless you put your chips in. And I see here, Leo, that you're ready. You're ready to reintroduce yourself to love in some way. And I feel like life has taught you a lot, but you also, your emotional center, you've become more emotionally intelligent, emotionally wise, because I see the moon right above the Hierophant here. And this is, you know, a new commitment, a commitment to our heart, that we're not going to suppress our heart, that we're not going to close ourselves off to love, because that would be self-abandonment, and we're not going to do that to ourselves. We're going to stay in this energy of the strength. We're going to give those parts of ourselves that feel hard to love, or those parts of, you know, ourselves that feel like we want to kind of close down. We want to go into the depths of some deep water and not come out. I feel like you are giving that part of yourself some love. Now, even though there is some strong fears here, some strong fears of heartache, okay, I do see that you are healing this heartache. And I see that you have been working on the unresolved emotional pain. Okay, unresolved. Why was it unresolved? Because you were repressing, or someone that you were dealing with was repressing. But I see here that this is about taking a look at, you know, the underlying energy of bitterness and feeling closed off or feeling unable to trust. You're looking at it through the Hierophant, through the eyes of wisdom, through the eyes of emotional intelligence. And because you're doing so, Leo, look at what you have here. Your outcome is refresh. All right, let's set up some new chips here. Let's go to a new poker table. And this is going to be a good one for you, right? And even if you don't know that, right, you don't see it, maybe it's not physically there yet, can you trust it? Can you believe it? Can you set yourself up for that abundant mindset? Because this is a refresh. And you see that there's the girl. It's the same girl, her eyes here in this strength card. And she's a wise woman now. And male or female for you, it doesn't matter. But this does talk about maturation, right? The maturity here, the maturity level through, you know, your very early ages to this adult life of yours. And when the Three of Wands shows up in matters of the heart, you are manifesting here a move. The Three of Wands reminds us that success is but a move away, right? But don't hesitate. Don't get lost in the planning. Don't not make a move. Don't fold your hand here, because you could have the winning hand. And I feel like there is an opportunity for you to manifest some really beautiful dynamics in love. The threes represent harmony and union and advancement. And I see here that this is feeling quite refreshing. Now, some of you also, you may have been really looking at the aging process. Maybe you've been looking at your old self and saying, wow, you know, it was so much easier to date at 25 than it is 45. Or, you know, I sure have some wrinkles now, or, you know, I don't look the same as I did. But I feel like you're loving all of those parts of yourself, just like I said here with the strength card. And you're giving those parts of yourself that you feel like it's hard to love. Like, who could love a crocodile and give it a hug there, right? But I feel like it's not about the external. This is about you loving every part of you. And even the parts that you struggle with, the biggest part of this is internal. And you see that now. There's something about, yes, you keeping up with your appearance and with your health and things of that nature, but I feel like you see it, it's more well-rounded is what I'm getting to. There's something more well-rounded in your energy, Leo. And for those of you that are looking for love, love is but a move away. You are one move away from the Four of Wands. That is the marriage card, or that is stability and just feeling like you are finally coming to a place of more security. For those of you that are in a relationship, you have some choices to make. Okay, you have some choices to make. Is this going to withstand the test of time? You know, can I be okay staying in this relationship if nothing changes? Because I see that if you stay in a situation that's currently breaking your heart, you're going to become bitter. You're going to become closed off. If you're not these things already, you're going to be left in disappointment. And I feel like this is you moving out of that 2 energy, right? The 2 of indecisiveness and moving towards a refresh. So whatever choices, whatever energies you are aligning with, it feels a lot better. It feels a lot cleaner as well. Let's get a message here. Building blocks, card 28. This is a time for you to address the cracks in your foundation. This is a time for you to really take a look at, you know, what you've built thus far within your relationships, okay? Within your marriage, if you're married, or even if you're single. Is there anything deep down, that belief system, the Hierophant, is there anything that limits you, that kind of pulls out one of these blocks from time to time? Because we want a solid base. We want a solid foundation, because that's what is creating that 4 of Wands, right? That 4 of Wands is the solid, you know, home life, the solid structure. And that's what you're building here. So the 28th could be significant, Leo. Some of you could be born on the 28th, or the 28th of January could be a big day for you. All right, let's get a few messages from your crystal spirits. And at this time, Leo, I just ask if you can safely do so. Please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in from your solar plexus chakra, your belly area. Nice big inhale. Hold it as long as you can. And release through the mouth with a nice deep sigh. And with your eyes still closed, tune into your 3rd eye chakra, the area between your eyebrows and your forehead region. And I want you, Leo, to imagine the first crystal or gemstone that shows up in your mind's eye. Now your crystal could hold a specific shape, size, or color. Could be heart-shaped, maybe even fit in the palm of your hand. Perhaps your crystal is a beautiful color of blue or pink, orange or clear. Your crystal could be in the rawest form. Maybe it's clustered or has points. You may even know the name of the crystal in your mind's eye. And if not, just tune into the frequency that it's emitting. It could be that of unconditional love, strength, power, and even protection. There is no right or wrong, Leo. And if you need a moment, just pause the video and come back when you are ready. And for those of you that would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway, all you need to do is drop your crystal or crystals, if you have more than one, drop them in the comment section below, whether this is the name, whether it's the shape, the size, the color, whatever you are seeing or feeling in your mind's eye. Drop that in the comment section. Hit that subscribe and bell button so you don't miss that notification. All right. You have the beautiful crystal carnelian. This is one of my personal favorites. This is about increased confidence, dignity, poise, and self-assurance. And when carnelian spirit shows up for you, when it comes to relationships, it says there is strength, and you have the strength card. There is strength in allowing yourself to be vulnerable. After all, intimacy and trust can only be built if you let yourself be seen as you really are. Be confident in all that you have to offer a partner and know that the universe wants all of your relationships to nourish you. Carnelian Spirit is here to remind you of how wonderful you are. Rest assured that as you experience your dignity and hold your head high, others will recognize that you are a pillar of strength and a beautiful, unique spirit. You deserve the relationship that you want for yourself. Be assured that the universe is working to see that you have it. And remember, what you don't quite see yet is the 10 of Cups. This is at the bottom of the deck here. 10 of Cups is the ultimate blessing. And this coincides with what this carnelian energy just mentioned, right? The universe is working so that you see that you have it. Carnelian is a stone of confidence, courage, and action. Fantastic for those who are prone to procrastination, or if you're having a difficult time gathering the courage to take the next step. And we have all of that showing up here in your reading. So this falls beautifully in line with what we've been talking about. Now, carnelian is a fire stone. It's a fire in that belly and other less comfortable places. It pulls you up by the bootstraps and says, let's go for it. And that's what this energy is all about this month. Let's go for it. Leo, you are fire and you have what it takes here to, again, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Let's go for it, because that is going to be the biggest blessing that you step into with this 10 of Cups, but you have to be willing to make that first move. That is what I have for you, Leo. It looks like this is a powerful month packed with a big punch. And I feel like you are, again, you're putting yourself out there. And I feel like you're taking a risk, okay? You're taking a risk here, opening yourself up to vulnerability. And if that's something you struggle with, really embrace the energy here of carnelian, because it brings the uncomfortable out, but it brings it out in such a way that helps your soul's journey, and it helps you remember who you are. That's what I have, Leo. If this resonates, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Drop your crystal spirits below to be entered into the giveaway. And thank you again for tuning in. Lots of love.